All right, it's time for another episode of Stolendroids Podcast. I'm Zonner.
And I'm Colin.
And we are here with a mess of people. Not messy people, although it is messy.
It is kind of messy.
But
yeah, there's cupcakes all over the place.
It's
weird.
There are cupcakes everywhere.
That's like a sign of a good party.
It is a sign of a good party. But we have some big announcements here. But first of all, let's introduce some people that you might be familiar with. We've got Jake and Tracy from Movies That Make Us.
Hi, guys.
Woo-hoo.
And then we want to...
Might be familiar with. What is up with that?
Yeah, I've been on the show a couple times. You've been on the show a couple times.
I mean, you were part of another Stolendroid show, Generic Geek Podcast.
What if this is their first episode?
Whatever. They know who we are.
You know what?
Hey,
We're kind of a
they
big
could be
deal.
coming over
You are
from
kind of a big
cutscenes
deal.
and cupcakes.
Go back
whoops.
now.
I
Yes.
gave it away.
Wow.
Cutscenes and cupcakes.
Oh, man.
So last week, Colin teased a new podcast would be joining the fray. This is episode 2 of the Crisis on Infinite podcast. You can hear episode 1 on Movies That Make Us, which aired yesterday.
Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Talk Like a Pirate Day.
It's still not
Shiver
working
me
out.
timbers.
Where was that Irish pirate?
Yes.
Arr!
That pirate be stealing me
Nobody
Lucky
touch me,
Charms.
Lucky Charms.
So just like on the CW with the Arrowverse crossover, you know, people die.
Best be believing in ghost tales because you're in one.
Some people are on episodes, some people are not. We lost Val on this episode. She lost. I mean,
You're
she
gonna
suffered
lose
a
me in a
very
few minutes.
glorious death. You will not suffer a glorious death because you knew darn well what was going on tonight.
It's like 6 months ago.
It was
You know
it's a
what.
Rush cover
You
band,
know what you
dude.
did.
They're not a cover band. They're an original band, but they do Rush covers.
Okay.
You know what?
I'll let it slide.
That's said doo-doo.
That's fair. Whatever.
They're called Rushed.
So yeah, if you want
Anyways,
to know,
Val died by Rambo's armpit.
yes,
Well, she is always wondering what the different celebrities smell
Yeah,
like.
she really
so-
wanted to smell it.
yeah, and you know it was.
That's okay.
She went in
It
and
really is.
73-year-old Stallone just was a little too much for her. That's all we're gonna.
Too
we'll,
much man to handle.
We'll leave it at that.
So she got the honorable death. I can't wait to hear what Tracy gets.
I think it's
for
going to be
his
something.
death. That's the honorable version. Like, she died by Rambo's armpit. Nothing more honorable than that.
It's going to be Chigger related. I just have a feeling.
No,
No.
Did you say?
Colin's already
that's
got one
only
in
saved
mind.
for special people.
No?
That's special to you?
Did you say Chigger or
I mean-
Trigger?
Chigger.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I had Trigger related death.
Should we talk about cutscenes and cupcakes?
We
Like,
probably should.
mention that they were here.
Hey, we're still here.
I keep wanting to, but people keep sidetracking
They
us.
don't even go here.
I know.
They
So
just
we've-
have a lot of feelings.
So ladies, I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself because I'm not going to do that like Jake did on episode 1 of Crisis on Infinite Podcasts. So let's start with our first host from Cutscene and Cupcakes.
Cupcake number 1.
Yeah, you guys really should go listen to that episode because it got brutal.
It was, well, this is episode 2, so you gotta see or listen to episode
Yeah.
1.
I am
Exactly.
just glad I'm not in charge of this episode.
I really wish I wasn't. I'm just telling you right now, I really wish I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm Lindsay. I'm from Cutscenes and Cupcakes. I am the pro gamer, which means I've been gaming the most of the three of us.
Cool.
So when you say pro, do you get paid?
Oh my gosh, I wish. We can discuss that.
Just for a little backstory, we're a gaming podcast.
Yes.
So how long
That's
have
probably
you been
good to
gaming?
know. My whole life, since I could hold a controller.
Nice.
So yeah, I would say I want so badly to say that I started off with the NES, but I started with the SNES.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say the SNES is the best platform ever.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
right there.
it platform's my favorite game.
And if you guys don't like that, fight me. I've said that many times on this show.
You know what?
Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and 64.
Have you ever heard of a Nintendo 64?
I have.
SNES.
I don't think your mom let you own one.
SNES wasn't even the
you were
best
old
platform
then.
of its generation.
Dude,
Genesis
no,
was better.
No,
Ooh, I don't know.
no,
It's gonna get wild in here if we bring that
GameCube?
up.
Back on Sega Genesis? Come on. It's way better than the Lion King game.
Sega Saturn?
That Lion King was hard.
It's way hard.
You know what? I grew up on Atari with one button and one joystick, and that was all we had, and we liked it.
He's
And we
old.
did it.
You're old! We know!
And you just kept on getting lost in endless loops of E.T. Can I find the right hole?
That's what she said?
Now, what is this game?
You have to be married to play it, Lindsay.
Dang it.
What kind of E.T. were you playing, Colin?
I mean, technically, you don't have to be married.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, we're talking about filing taxes
We don't
here.
judge.
Yeah. Wait, you didn't file taxes when you were single?
You don't need to file taxes when you're single?
Should we?
I don't know that you should be putting that out there on the air.
And
I hope nobody from the IRS is listening.
That's
I
the
think
biggest
we're-
fan base. Are you kidding me?
I actually
Everyone
know
knows.
one guy that works for the IRS that listens to our show.
You
Sorry,
are
Steph, you're screwed.
My name is Marley
Well,
Haywood.
And I've never done taxes.
taxes.
This is my address and phone number.
I think before we get somebody audited, we should move on.
Yeah, it's my turn. So I'm Marley, the real Marley. And
Is that like the real Slim Shady?
Please stand up. Please stand up.
And I'm considered player medium, intermediate, average. I don't know. We never really decided on a name.
I always
All of them-
preferred mediocre.
Just okay.
Well, because I grew up with kind of an average gaming experience. Nothing too crazy, but I did play some games growing up, and I more so like in my adult life, especially for this podcast, like I've gotten more into gaming and stuff. But yeah, I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle.
And I'm Steph. I'm the noob. I was forced to learn to like video games because my friends did.
Well, and your husband.
You make that sound so grim. Like, you make it sound like
Yeah, like what the heck?
like we've been torturing
Do
you.
you
Like,
enjoy it?
I do now.
So it was only part torture.
Just part torture.
I'm sorry I subjected you to hours of fun and entertainment.
Okay, I know there's times that you made me watch you play video games and I did not care.
I needed company.
Do you only play video games when you have company?
No, not at all. But there are times I do need company, like when I'm playing a scary video game, or I need someone to talk to me and distract me just enough that I can do really well.
Yeah.
Scariest video game you've ever played?
Oh,
I've got a couple.
Outlast. I'd say, yeah.
We just
PT
teaser
comes
to Bendy and the Ink Machine episode that we're going to be doing because that was pretty freaking scary.
I heard
Wait for our
the-
Halloween episodes.
I heard the Blair Witch game that just came out.
Oh, I wanna
really
play
I've
that
heard
so
good
bad.
things about
I've
it.
heard really good
I want to
things.
play it so
I'm
bad.
so scared.
But Marley's scared. So I'll have to play it alone.
Can we have all the lights on, and then I'll play it. If
We'll
we
have
I
the
don't
lights
think we're
on,
allowed to
and you
play
can hold my
scary
cat.
game with lights on.
Do you ever remember the game
No.
Eternal Darkness?
Eternal
on the GameCube?
Darkness.
Is that a Mormon?
No.
That's Outer Darkness.
Sorry. I couldn't tell if you said Mormon or mermaid.
Both.
Which ties into the pirate theme that we did yesterday.
Mermaid Mormon.
And Jake's glasses went up on the forehead. They didn't come off.
I'm not in charge. I don't know what I care. This isn't my show. I don't care what happens.
But no, it was a cool game because there's like this guy who's traveling through these dimensions and he has an insanity meter.
Oh,
And
shoot.
you have to like find ways to calm yourself down and keep yourself sane. And if you hit too much in the insanity meter, stuff would start to happen in the game. And one of the coolest ones is it made it look like it was a reboot screen. So like the screen went blue and it had all this code on it, and you're like, what? And then about 3 seconds later, pops back and you're back in the game.
Play
and
this.
It's like, oh,
Yeah, that sounds
it was
awesome.
Cool. It was
It's
cool.
kind of a dick move to do in a video
totally
game.
Was,
Oh,
but,
it's totally addictive.
like all of a sudden the game would be upside down, like stuff that you were interacting with wouldn't be there anymore. It was crazy.
Oh,
How did
man.
what were the items like that calmed you down? Like, would you find a Xanax?
I don't
or-
remember.
Copious amounts of alcohol.
Maybe a teddy bear. I mean, you're not supposed to trust the teddy bears in
That's
horror
true.
games.
That's
They're
true.
creepy.
Very true.
Yeah.
Is this the game that Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk movie was based on? Like, he's got the watch on, make sure he's staying calm.
Okay. Heartbeats at 73. I'm good.
There's supposed to be an H.H. Holmes horror game coming out.
That could be very interesting.
Yeah.
That guy-
It could go either way for me, but I've always wanted one because he's my favorite, like, murder factoryer of the many. He like made a murder factory,
He did.
pretty much.
A murder-
At least that's what he's
murder
alleged
hotel.
Murder
to have
hotel.
done. Murder hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Slash
could go either
factory.
way, but I'm excited.
Can you name any other
he was
murder
really-
factoriers?
I want to, but
It
I
sounds like he was more of a murder hotelier.
yeah, that's true. But I would just categorize that with the murder factoriers just to make
Okay.
things more simple.
He just sounds like a shrewd businessman.
Yes. Where was the profit?
He
Are we
invested
talking
in
about
more.
the Mormons again?
No.
They're not
Probably
involved
Salt
in
Lake
murder
City.
factories, as far as I know.
Let's hope not.
So, ladies, tell us a little bit about your podcast, because we're assuming that people that listen to this show have never listened to us before. And they've probably listened to you before because
They're kind of
we
more
have like
important.
6 listeners. But
Well, now you have 7. I'll listen.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yes.
all in this room.
We're so...
Oh! Shots fired.
Wait.
Shots fired.
So
there are
who
7
isn't
of us.
listening to us in this room?
that would be me.
Valerie,
That would be me.
here, so she's already out.
But no, seriously, like for our listeners, tell us, you do bakery goods, you do video games. Tell us, how did that all come
two
to
of my
be?
favorite things.
We just wanted to talk about video games from a female perspective and rate. We're already playing a lot of video games, so we're like, let's do something about this.
And we thought we were pretty funny while playing video games.
Yeah.
So we're like, we should have a podcast.
Our first draft for our name was Teabags and Tiaras.
The reason why,
That's
I should say,
amazing.
we wanted something girly and cute, and we wanted something gamer, like a gamer term.
And alliteration.
And alliteration, because we all like alliteration. So Teabags and Tiaras was the first
'Cause
draft.
who doesn't enjoy teabagging your enemy right after you kill them?
I've seen that less and less. Like since Halo,
The only
I've
thing
seen
that
it
makes
less
that
and
better
less.
is if you're wearing a tiara.
True.
I've
Exactly.
occasionally been known to teabag people on Overwatch.
My husband did the
Why
other
doesn't
day,
that
and I'm like,
surprise me,
what?
Colin?
Why?
I did it to someone on Red Dead Redemption.
Really?
By accident.
Are you accidentally teabag?
Aren't you a girl on Red Dead? So it's not too. Are you v-bagging them?
I mean, technically, yeah.
Okay, that term that you just used brings up all sorts of questions that I don't think I want to get into.
Not my show.
But I think that you need to get that looked at by a medical professional. Just gonna say. Just gonna say.
Oh my God.
Wow, that is an unpleasant.
Yeah, that went somewhere all right.
Yeah. yeah.
On that note, check out our Red Dead Redemption 2 episode.
I was going to say on that note, I need to head out.
So, Tracy, you go suffer an dishonorable death.
I love you, Honor.
No,
Tracy watched way too many
No,
reruns.
don't tell him how he dies until after he leaves. He'll have to
All
listen
right.
to the episode.
Yeah,
to
get
find
out of here.
The rest of this episode, we're just going to come up with the worst death.
I'm
And
kind of looking forward to this.
we were
Yeah,
going to have
thank you.
sound effects, but somebody forgot his power cord. I'm just saying.
Why are you? It's you, Colin. You're like, that would be me over here. Colin, but you're.
So, if you listened to last week's episode, you know that Colin got a new toy. And he looked just like a little kid holding a brand new toy in the store. Just so excited. And he can't even use it, which is
feel
just
really bad.
sad.
I wanted it.
I did
It
too.
had all the things.
I told you. Gunshot sound
We'll bring
effects.
We'll bring it next time. It'll be fine.
Explosion sound effects. We could have done all sorts of good stuff to kill Tracy.
Clown
and
chuckles.
Instead, we're just going to have to kill him with a clown.
Oh, ladies on her.
Oh, love you too, brother.
Jumping
Give
your
him a
boob right
good
now.
big
Yes,
kiss.
I'm
Yeah,
feeling
give him a sloppy kiss.
hashtag me too.
Bite that ear a little.
Should we leave the room?
I feel
I'm getting uncomfortable.
You smell good.
I feel special.
But not as good as when you're sleeping.
Yeah, you smell better when you're sleeping.
Yes. I don't actually.
Bye.
Bye.
That made me uncomfortable.
You wasn't touching your breasts.
He wasn't touching mine
I'm
either.
self-conscious.
Yeah,
Everyone
and
just
I don't
crosses their
smell better
arms.
when I sleep because I fart a lot. So I'm just saying. I don't even know where to go after that. But he needs to.
Neither do we. It was,
He needs to die.
So Tracy just walked out into a room out there. He's now encased in glass, and all that is playing is the Dora Explorer movie.
That looks good.
He'll be dead within the next 2 hours.
The movie or just the theme song?
No, just
the TV
just
show.
the movie.
Why not both simultaneously?
Everything all at once.
Every corner of the room, there's another one playing.
It's like
In a giant backpack.
When you said like encased in a small
some of
glass
the best,
room,
most original lyrics ever for a children's show. Right
right there. I mean, he's just enjoying some Dora ASMR, is what he's doing.
Death by Dora
No, not
ASMR.
Didn't you go down a
So
rabbit
Colin.
hole, Colin?
Oh my god!
You-
I didn't go down a
What
rabbit
did
hole.
you discover?
You
Tell
and
us.
I, actually,
gosh.
he's not the only one. We just discovered what ASMR was. We not together.
It wasn't a group activity.
It was not. Somebody
Me
used
and
it.
Connor couldn't sleep the other night, so we snuggled and watched some ASMR.
No,
And did you like it?
Well, Scott from NerdSync actually in one of his videos recently mentioned ASMR. I'm like, what the crap is that? I don't know what that is.
Jake, are you looking up what ASMR is right now?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Jake was
Okay.
today years old.
So I was on Cameo.com because, you know,
Like the
occasionally I like to go browse and see what celebrities and stuff are on Cameo.com.
Sure.
See who can give you like a video message. Because why not? And so I was scrolling through like the YouTubers on there, and all of a sudden there was all these ASMR YouTubers, and I was like, what is ASMR? So I looked it up, and the screen is just it looks like if you're looking at the screen, it looks like you are looking up at a ceiling. There are like oval eyes carved out in this camera, and this girl just walks up and like starts baby talking to you. And
Were you watching Poppy?
What are you doing up?
Oh.
I don't know.
He would know if it was Poppy.
What's Poppy?
Don't. No.
Now you're looking up what Poppy is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Just be careful
she-
on YouTube.
I didn't go much further. I didn't go further at all. I just stopped right there. But yeah, this girl's like talking to you, being like, "Oh, are you having such a hard time sleeping? Yeah, it's really rough. Let me get you some water." And
This is
she leaves
Colin's
and gets
ASMR
water.
video that we're going to be producing here. Is that what this is?
No,
we're not doing ASMR videos. I don't know what this is. This
not
sounds
at all.
weird.
It was just the creepiest thing. I didn't understand it.
Most ASMR videos are like somebody in front of a microphone, and they'll like get like paper towel or like
Coffee
just random things, and just like make
Yeah.
Stephanie
noises.
knows.
That's what I was reading.
Yeah,
like,
they make
that
noises.
was-
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know
I
what
read
Colin
too.
was describing. That
No,
sounds
that
more
is,
like
that sounds like
is a
porn.
form. No, that's a form of ASMR, but there's like very like dark deep, like almost sexual, like ASMR videos.
Marley said the sex word.
I said it. But like, you
But
gotta
the
be
sideways
careful.
glance at Colin as she said it, like I feel like there was a little bit of judginess there, and I think it was justified.
Yeah, he didn't go too much further, you guys.
No, I didn't.
He subscribed.
Did you find any Wookiee ASMR?
Oh, I bet there is some. Seriously,
You can make a
We're
Wookiee
not bringing
noise.
that up in
It's
this
not.
episode right now, are we?
ASMR is like, it's a huge deal, and it's
Marley has the most serious face right now.
it's a very serious thing. I don't really like it. It's creepy to me. To be
That
honest.
much has been clear with like your expression as you've been talking about it.
Yeah. Go down a rabbit hole on YouTube and you will see.
Don't go down the rabbit hole.
You will see for yourself.
See, I didn't look at any videos. I just read like the definition on Google because that's generally sufficient.
Well, there
Is this
was
the
a
same thing you would
there
tell
was
your
a
parents
link
when they
in the
caught you too? You're
cameo.com
like, I didn't
to
watch
the
any
YouTube
videos.
video.
I was just looking it up to see what it was. I didn't watch any.
I'm too old. The internet wasn't a thing when I was a
Oh my
kid.
gosh. All right,
I'm reading it
speaking
for
of
the articles,
weird
Mom, I swear.
things, what's the weirdest video game you guys have ever played?
Weirdest?
I'm gonna have to ponder that one.
Wow, that's a great question, Colin.
Because I played this one. I can't remember what it's called
It's a stumper.
Well, how can you talk about it if you don't know what it's called?
because I can describe it.
I've got one, I think, when you're ready.
Oh no, please.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I
I don't know what he was going to describe. I'm afraid it's going to involve a baby waking up and watching its mom. So
No.
let's hear about your video game.
This one actually, I wouldn't say it's bad weird, it's good weird.
Okay.
It's called Miss Rose and the Flowering Nose in Slugland.
What?
Please Google it. I looked it up the other day. It is still active. Basically, you are a goblin-esque character with a flower that grows on your nose, and you chuck flowers at your enemies. And you can pick up any item in the game and put it in a portal and go to that item's world. So you go to Carrot World. You can go to Hell. You can go to like You can go to like Onion World, like, and all these different worlds. And your goal is to find your way out of Slugland. I think I played it for probably 2 or 3 weeks straight with minimal sleep. Me and my sister would just kind of like tag team and like play this game and get it like and try and beat it. We never beat it because we kept falling into hell. But it's a really fun game. But very bizarre.
I only play good video games, so
This is a good video game.
I'm sure there's one out there. I just can't think of it.
Yeah, this one video game, it's half of your body's gone.
Whoa.
So you just have
Oh,
your
dear.
top half, and you have these pickaxes in each hand, and you have to like use the pickaxes to move your body, but it's like a full rotational.
Is this a VR thing? What?
Yeah, you only play it with your mouse.
Is this like the QWERTY runner game?
I don't know.
Where you have to like, or no, not QWERTY, but what's the running game where you have to push the specific letters on the keyboard and anyway.
Like any PC game.
No. No, this is like the hardest game in the world. You're like a track runner, and you have to run, but you have to. There's like specific letters you have to push.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong.
WASD.
Yeah, something like that. No,
Donkey Kong Country.
Those are the typical movements.
Listen, Linda.
Are you talking about the arrow keys?
You guys just keep talking. I'll find the game. I
Alright.
promise.
But yeah, so you're using these pickaxes to move, and as you're like climbing up these cliffs with it, if you miss, then you fall all the way down. It is like one of the hardest games
I know what you're
I
talking
have
about.
ever played. Yeah,
Do
it's
you?
so weird.
It's so weird. Yes,
It
because Blake
sounds
played
freaking
it for Wii.
inspirational. Like,
Well, yeah,
This
don't
guy
you
is
go
a
up in the
champion.
sky, and then
Yeah.
there's Skyland or something like that,
I only played it for like an hour,
and then you ascend.
but I only got like what would normally take 2 minutes to get to.
That sounds like an
Super weird.
effective use of your time there.
I mean, I was recording it for.
It's called QWOP. QWOP. Listen, look, I'm telling you, this is weird. This is the
Look,
game.
listen.
Listen, look.
Okay.
See, I'm not.
It's like
saying look
So you have to use
On a
on the podcast,
Oh,
not so
okay.
Oh, the
effective.
side quest guys. Those
Yeah,
guys
if
are
you guys
cool.
check out the SideQuest guys YouTube channel, they've got a video called Let's Play Co-op, and they talk about it. And like, it's impossible to make this little runner guy run.
I thought we were here to promote cutscenes and cupcakes.
Oh.
We are here to promote cutscenes and cupcakes.
Not some random YouTube
We
video.
can have other friends, okay?
Yeah. And I want to talk about Octodad. Did you
Oh,
have
yeah.
you
It's a
played
weird
that?
game, yeah.
But it's fantastic. Like,
I have
it's
no idea what it's just, what is it?
So you play this dad who's an octopus, and you
Yeah, of course.
have to push. It's like I played it on a console, and all the buttons you push are like it's mapped really weird. So you move him, and you're like slapping things off the counter, and you like
Yeah.
can't control him. But like, that game is so fun. The way it was presented to me is like, this is the best game you didn't know you needed. And I was like, whatever, I don't play your weird game. And I played it, and I was like, this is the best game I didn't know I needed. Like, it is so fun and so lighthearted and, like, just simple, easy chaos.
Yeah, one of my sons watches YouTube videos like relentlessly, not the ones that Colin watches, but video game ones typically, and he's watched a lot of videos of Octodad, and I'm like, what is this weird, bizarre game?
Has he watched the bread one too then?
No, I
Where
don't
you're a
think so.
piece of bread that wants to be toasted
Oh.
and you try to travel across, but you're bread, so you don't move like a human.
See, I was thinking like I was gonna say like a really weird game like Worms, where you're like blowing each other up and you're worms with all these different weapons and stuff like that. That doesn't even touch the bizarreness that you guys have gone into with weird video games. This is fantastic.
Well, I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
I know, like I feel like there's a lot more depth here.
The same game that I was describing was made by the Co-op creators.
Oh.
And he has a sledgehammer, not pickaxes. That's right.
That's
and
much less easy to
he's
climb
naked
with.
and he's in a pot.
Yes, I have seen this.
He's naked and in a pot, but
Yeah.
only the top half of his body.
On top of
Well,
his
the
half,
bottom
yeah.
half wouldn't be allowed on YouTube.
Right. That's why he can be naked, because it's only the top half,
And he's a guy, and it's
Right.
got guy
It's called
nipples.
Getting Over
which
It.
are totally fun.
With Bennett Foddy.
We played Human Fall Flat for a hot
Oh
minute.
my gosh, that game.
The music is everything in that game because you play this like
Like
little
boneless
weird
little dude.
Yeah, little jelly dude who is like climbing up hills, and it's similar to Octodad in like that the button mapping can be tricky and like getting up a cliff can be really tricky. But the music is like this kind of melancholy piano. And it really like makes it so hilarious to play, and it's really fun to play with a friend because you can like drag him
If
around.
you play co-op, you grab your guy and pull him away from it.
But it's also very frustrating because you like try to get like up cliffs and then you keep falling, and like you like try to just do basic functions like move your arm up and you can't. It's like going behind you. Like, oh, that game. It's
fun.
entertaining to watch, but it's for like I think for like a short amount of time because it gets.
It's
old
for a
fast.
really long
That's code
time.
for Marley isn't good at it.
Actually, I don't think I've ever played it. I've just watched it. Maybe that's why I don't like it as much because I get bored of watching you guys play it.
For a really long time, it was the game that like we would play our main feature, and then like the party would kind of be fizzling out. Stephanie would be asleep on the floor, and
Asleep or passed out?
both.
Okay,
And,
just checking.
Is there any difference as an adult? But anyway, so like the party would be fizzling out, and then me and Steph's husband would just start playing Human Fall Flat while we chatted and kind of wrapped up the night.
Nice.
Have you guys ever heard of Who's Your Daddy?
Colin,
I have
get
heard of that.
nervous,
Oh my
Colin,
God.
every
I'm
time
not
you
old
start
enough to
talking
play
about
that.
something now.
I know.
I don't think I've heard of it in the sense that you're asking, but
The Who's Your Daddy video game? Oh, my
Oh, we were
gosh.
talking about the porn.
Yep. Nope. Definitely not that one.
oh gosh.
But no, it's.
Have you guys
this-
ever heard of Who's Your Daddy? Yeah, people have heard of that, Colin. People say it all the time.
So you're playing as so there's two different players. There's one player who's a baby, and there's another player who's a dad. And the baby gets a head start and starts going around, crawling around. And the dad has to go find it before it kills itself somehow.
Oh, I think I know this game.
Yeah.
Are there YouTubers that do like a
Oh,
let's
yeah.
play? Okay, that's how
Don't kill the baby or something
That's
like
how
that.
it sounds familiar.
And when the baby falls out the second-story window, Tears in Heaven.
I
Eric
mean-
Clapton starts to play.
You're
There's
not the
that.
person for even like bringing that up.
Yeah. It's
Why would I want to play this game? This is my life. I have 6 kids running around that I just hope don't die every
You're
day.
the winner of the game.
I won. They've made it almost to adulthood.
I played
That's not
this
true,
when
one of
my
them's 3.
when my child was 1 month old, and I was like, I can't be playing this.
It's like giving you
This is
anxiety.
horrifying. Like,
Maybe Parenthood is just the ultimate weird game.
You know,
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's very deep.
I'm gonna agree with you there. I'm gonna agree with you there. I've like Jake. I've got 6 kids,
Oh,
and yeah. So
oh,
It's not a requirement to be part of the network, though. just
It's
so you
not.
guys know.
thank goodness.
I'm
That's
way
good because me
behind.
and Marley would have to leave.
I did think of a weird game though. I almost forgot about this one. So I played it with some friends on the Switch. It's called Firewatch. Have you guys ever
Okay.
heard of that
yeah,
one?
I've heard
Is
of
this
it.
the German one that's like, is it not German?
Isn't that the
It
one
might
where
be
you're like
German.
putting out forest fires?
Isn't it just like a
Yeah,
fireplace
so
on the
it's,
wall?
No, shh.
I love that game.
It's actually
Sit and just
considered.
watch a fire. I've seen that on Netflix.
Yeah. No, I think it's like considered like a walkabout game or something. I think there's an actual like term for it. I've never heard of it before, but anyways, the game is basically like you're this guy. It's like 1989, and you just like move to the wilderness to you be part. For the summer, you're just there as like the fire watcher. Like essentially, that's what you are. But like, I guess the weird part of it for me was like, the whole time you were expecting more to happen, and it's so anticlimactic. Like, you go out and you're like, oh, we gotta put out this fire, or oh, there's these campers that left a mess and I gotta go clean it up. And you keep like, there's like little sinister things that kind of happen, and the music changes, so you think something's gonna happen, and then nothing happens. So like the whole time you're just like, okay, someone's gonna jump out and murder us. But it never happens, and all of a sudden like the game ends and you're done with your fire watch. Like you go home and you're just like, that was it.
Man, that sounds
It
like
was the
work
weird-
for me.
It was the weirdest game, but
I
it was
go
also so interesting.
I work at a rehab, and so I go in. So like, I always feel this anxiety and suspense of like, I'm gonna walk into a dead body today, and then it doesn't ever happen. Thank heaven. But like, that sounds like my life. So I don't know if I can play this game. It's hitting a little too close to home.
Again,
but sometimes
don't play it,
suspense is fun.
Again, that's a lot like Parenthood.
It is.
You don't know what you're going to walk into every day.
And sometimes you walk into the room and you just walk right back out.
My sister always says that her like main Parenthood mantra is, "Why is this wet?"
Yeah.
Yep. That gets said a lot in my house.
Why is this wet? And what's great is I get 6 I don't knows right after that. I don't know. We have
Mr.
strangers
Nobody
that come into
strikes
our
again.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to have a neighbor who would come over and he would pee on our stuff.
Oh my god!
Wait, for reals?
For reals. Like,
Did he
How
hate
old was
you?
this
Why?
neighbor?
he was like 4. And he'd come over to play with
Oh, it's a kid?
Yeah,
I thought it was like a grown adult.
That's a
that
crime.
would be more interesting.
Isn't there a game about this, like Hello Neighbor or whatever it is?
But-
like where you break into your neighbor's house and like do different pranks and stuff.
That sounds awesome.
I swear my kids have
I
watched
really
videos
wanna
about
play
this.
this.
I'll find it. I'll tell you. It's true.
But yeah, seriously, he'd come over and like he'd sit down on my couch and he'd get up and my couch would be soaked. It's like,
Oh no!
and then we realize you say, why is this wet? And you get a whole bunch of I don't knows. There were times where he legitimately did not, or nobody legitimately knew, because this kid would come over to our house and he would like just let himself in and he'd pee on our stuff and then he'd leave. It's like, you got to be kidding me. My wife came out of the shower one day and there's like this kid in my house.
That's horrible.
Oh my goodness!
What the heck?
So the game's called Hello Neighbor. It's a survival horror stealth game
What?
developed by Dynamic Pixels. And the goal of the game is to successfully sneak into the basement of the neighbor's house to uncover a secret.
Whoa.
And then I think
Disturbia.
I'm downloading this
Yes,
game.
that sounds awesome.
That sounds like the Burbs.
Disturbia,
bit
the
like the
Burbs,
Burbs.
Secret Window.
Yeah.
That is what that game
That's
is.
what that game is. And then I think you can pee on your neighbor's stuff, probably.
If you can't, then
It
they
should
need
be,
some
yeah.
DLC.
DLC.
I just wanted to point out that in your break room, there's a scale next to the microwave and the fridge, and I think that's rude.
That's demoralizing.
Why is there a scale?
So you can weigh yourself before and after you eat your Hot Pocket.
I don't know. I got no answers.
How judgy are you?
Body shame.
Very.
Jeez.
Once a year, they come out here with like medical staff and do physicals, and maybe that's what it's for. I don't know.
Where do you work?
Someplace that gives us awesome discounts on our health insurance.
And why am I wearing the straight jacket?
I don't know. It looks good on you, though.
What were those papers I had to sign when I came in here?
Oh my gosh.
So, we should probably talk about something related to our pirate theme, since, you know, this is episode 2 of Crisis on Infinite Podcast, and I'm not going to lie, this episode has been a crisis. It's just been crisis after crisis.
Should we call this trilogy Pirate Crisis on Infinite Podcast Earth Places?
Huh?
I like it. That's a great title. Let's go with that.
I think that's going to be awesome for the SEO. But piracy
How it
and
works? You just put random words in there.
I think so.
Chances. Yeah.
But piracy in video games used to be like a huge thing, and it still is to some extent, especially with PC games. But then they started doing all this DRM, and now you've got the online only stuff. What was it? The Sims? No, not the Sims. SimCity 5 really kind of introduced that online only. You can only have one account using this, and oh, by the way, the game is crap, so it doesn't really matter.
Didn't that start with Neopets?
It may have, I don't know.
But who played Neopets here?
But,
Oh my
but
gosh.
SimCity was
Is that
like
like
one of the really big
Gigapets?
releases.
Tamagotchis.
Kind of.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack.
No,
with
that's
you
fine.
somehow collect these weird pets.
So it's like Pokemon.
It's like Pokemon.
Yeah.
It was kind of
But
a
like,
precursor
but like
to Pokemon.
cuter, like more Japan. Well, I guess.
More Japanese than Pokemon?
I know it's more Japanese than Pokemon, please.
Yeah, I want
I
wanna
stopped
know.
myself because I realized how stupid I sounded. Okay.
But we'd like you to elaborate.
It's just really cutesy. Like, think Pokemon meets Hello Kitties.
Both of which are
Both
very
are-
Japanese.
yeah.
But more Japanese.
So it's like when a Japanese person marries a Japanese person and they have a baby, it's another Japanese person.
We should probably move on because this is going to get really weird. Sorry.
But they started doing all this stuff with the digital piracy, or to thwart digital piracy. And when it comes to like TV and movies and things like that, it started to be discovered that if you make content available, people don't pirate it as much. And now there's a study that came out I think it was over in the UK,
In Japan.
which is like
That'd be Europe.
it's the UK is.
Close enough.
I think that the UK is
gonna get her
Europe's
an atlas
version
for her
of
birthday.
Japan, because they're an island just off the rest of it. You know, it's except they drink.
It's like the European Japan.
Yes, yes.
Oh yes, I'm familiar.
Oh, no, I get it. Yeah.
Now that you put it that way.
Do they
How many
speak?
listeners do you have in the UK? None now.
Do they
None
speak
now.
Polish
We
there?
had at least 10.
Yes. It's Polish.
So we had at least one. Sorry.
Konnichiwa.
She says with a mouthful of cupcake.
But they found out now that with all these new content providers coming out and having their own content be exclusive to their platform, that piracy is on the rise again. Do you see that happening like in the future with video games? Like, do you think that, you know, with the exclusives, I mean, Nintendo's always had the exclusives. There's always been the exclusives with the video games, but we're starting to see some stuff that's more platform specific. Do you think that we're going to start to see more piracy, or do you think that because it's platform specific, we're gonna just we've got the PS4, so we're gonna go get Spider-Man, and I'm not gonna worry about trying to download a cracked version or whatever.
I think like for PC gamers, it's you can't really hack on a console. I'm just gonna guess. I don't know enough about hacking, but I'm gonna say that's probably not a thing.
You can hack on a console.
It can be done.
You can do like how you would jailbreak an iPhone.
Okay, so a soft mod.
Yeah.
It can be done, but it's not like just going and downloading it like you would for the PC.
But I would say, I think there's kind of a sport to it. Like, if you make it a challenge, people are going to be like, I wonder if I can hack that new Assassin's Creed game and get all the DLC and all the skins all available for free.
Yeah.
I just kind of see that mindset being like in the community of hackers. So my guess would be but I don't know.
I think if you restrict anything, people are going to be willing to try to find a way around it.
Yeah, it's like the market grows for it.
Yeah, people want what they can't have.
Mm-hmm. Well, and let's be real. PlayStation's really the douchebags of the community. They had some of the best games that were PS4 release onlys this last couple of years. And I think, they're not suffering, but it's not, I don't think people appreciate it.
Xbox had some real bangers, too, though.
Like what?
Oh, gosh. Where to
Cuphead?
start?
You talking about Crackdown?
No.
What compares to God of War or Spider-Man?
What was that Xbox
or
release
Red Dead Redemption?
About? Sea of Thieves.
I think they used to, with
Ori
Halo.
and the Blind
Halo
Forest,
was a big
maybe.
deal.
Oh, man, Halo. If Halo hadn't gone downhill...
Yeah.
Because
that was a big reason why a lot of people bought the Xbox.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why I bought my one, and it has just sat in my closet for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And when you say PS4, the douchebags here, who owns PlayStation 4? Who makes that?
I own a PlayStation 4.
No, I mean, who makes it?
Sony.
Oh, so they're just all around, movies, video game platforms, just all around.
They're
around
trying to rule the
They
world.
want to take all our fun away.
But it's not working.
They're trying to
Spider-Man.
challenge Disney, and they are a minnow in a big
going
pond.
to lose.
I think Disney's going to buy them.
# free Tom Holland.
Oh. Well, and is it...
Sony will never sell to Disney.
I think...
A hostile takeover, man.
Given the right price, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's got a price.
That's what they say.
Some of us have prices that are fairly affordable.
My price is one cupcake.
we have 20 right here.
Thank you.
Stephanie now has all the cupcakes in the room.
I win.
She's effectively all of ours.
So is it considered pirating when you... because I see all the time on Instagram, Reddit, any other social media that people are posting pictures of their gameplay and even small clips from their gameplay. Is that considered piracy?
We do that.
I wouldn't say it's piracy, but it could infringe on
copyright.
I mean, it could be copyright infringement.
Because people do it all the time. It's all over.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not a copyright attorney.
I think most of the video game companies probably profit more from that than it hurts them.
I would agree.
I mean, yes, you go and you have a successful Twitch channel or whatever. You're making money off of that, sure, but everybody's talking about their game.
Well, and I guess, of course, YouTube, you can go even further with YouTube. You can do a whole playthrough of a game these days. Is that... because a lot of people do it. So that's my thing. Is that...
That's an interesting point, because if you did that with a movie, if you took a movie and put the whole movie on YouTube, they'd shut it down.
They would.
Yeah.
But if you play a whole
there's
playthrough...
tons of video games like that.
Yeah,
and somebody's going to sit down through 20 hours and
I'm surprised that YouTube hasn't shut down those types of videos, because...
No, don't do it, YouTube.
Yeah.
We like it.
Let's Plays, because those aren't going anywhere.
But do you think we just look at video games as a different medium? I mean, with a movie, you know you're going to sit down, you're going to watch the story, and the whole thing is you shouldn't be able to access that for free necessarily on YouTube or whatever. But with a video game where you're playing through it, that's half the fun, right? So if I watch somebody play through it, is that going to ruin the game for me, or is that going to make me want to play the game?
Depends on the kind of gamer you are and what your philosophy is.
Yeah.
I have friends who will just, instead of spending $60 on a game, watch someone else play it. A personality that they like. For me, I gotta play it. I like to make my own decisions. I like to jump off the cliff 30 times. I like to do...
And not get spoilers either.
And not get spoilers, like, because I like to experience it myself. So it really just depends on your philosophy, right?
Yeah. But I think with a movie, though, it's totally different, right? Because if you watch it for free, you're not going to go buy it and watch it because it's free.
I have a YouTube video for my daughter that's just like Finding Nemo clips, and at the beginning they put like the Century 16 logo. So it's not Disney. It's so disconcerting.
Oh.
Interesting.
Fan made.
Like, this will fool us.
This seems legit. Oh, this isn't Finding Nemo after all. It starts with Century 16, not Disney. Clearly. This is a different thing.
That's rough.
This is Finding Clownfish.
No, YouTube does crack down on the video clips quite a bit. My
They
brother
really do.
has a YouTube channel that got shut down for a while because of the video clips that he was putting on there.
Well, we recently put up a video clip from FanX, and I got a note from YouTube saying, hey, we're muting like a whole bunch of this because there's music in the background that you don't own the rights to.
Yep.
And
Jeez.
it just happened to
one
be
of Jess
background
Harnell's
music.
songs.
Yeah, it just happened to be
Yeah,
background
but-
music.
He probably doesn't want that playing for free everywhere.
It's not
either.
yours,
sure he
Colin.
does.
But no one's going to
what?
go
It's
to
not
your
yours.
video to listen to that song because there's probably
Right.
hundreds of people talking over it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
there's people,
And-
like, cheering and just...
yeah, like no one's going to jam out and be like, yeah.
And trust me, not enough people are going to our video that we're making money off of it. So
That is
we're
true.
not profiting from
Well,
it
not
either.
with that attitude.
Fair enough.
That is true. Ooh, that was like a variation.
Yeah, I'm easing him into that's fair. It'll be
Okay,
fine.
that works. That's fair.
That's fair is what he says when he actually disagrees with Tracy or Val.
Oh.
Stephanie has one
Or
of
people
those.
in general.
Yeah. Tracy and Val say it's my equivalent to giving you the bird, which it's not really. It just means I'm politely not going to agree with you or disagree.
When Stephanie really dislikes somebody, she'll be like, Katie is funny. Remember when you used to do that all the time?
Well, you don't want to say Katie's a dick. Because
Katie's funny. And then she'd like say terrible
Now I
things.
want to know
about
who
him.
Katie is.
Oh, you don't.
Katie sounds like a nice lady.
She's just kind of funny.
She's just, I mean, if she's hilarious, you know. Then
I don't think it's that kind of funny.
she did just get a divorce because her husband's gay, so I kind of felt bad for Katie.
Oh, Katie, no.
Yeah, that'll
that's hurtful.
do it.
Is this the Katie that dated our friend in high school who then became gay?
I hope she's not
Is
listening.
this Katie?
Yeah, Katie has a problem with wanting to date gay guys.
Okay.
Well, she has a type.
Yeah.
One side aren't attracted to her.
Poor
Wow.
Katie.
Oh,
All of a sudden, I feel really bad for
know.
talking about Katie. I don't.
I
even
feel like
know
I need to
her.
write her a letter now.
Katie, I hope you find love.
She kind of is the type of person who would hate listen to us.
I hope we have a lot of followers like that. That would be entertaining. Followers, listeners, whatever.
What do you like about cutscenes and cupcakes? I really don't even like listening to them, to be honest. I don't know why I do.
Well, I
I
think
doubt you have a lot of listeners that feel that way.
I would.
I doubt you have a lot of listeners and stop.
End it there.
I wasn't. Stop. I wouldn't say that.
Wow, Jake.
Well, I think that's our show
Oh, no.
because it's
all right.
yeah, we're about out of time because I haven't been paying close enough attention, and so I'm just guesstimating that we're about out of time.
You mean close enough attention, like you don't even see the recording?
I
from
don't
where
even
you're
see the
sitting?
recording,
Yeah.
but I do have time
According
here.
to the sun,
Which has been down for a while.
Which is gone. So it's obviously late.
The sun is gone, so are we.
So it's about like what 8:29
it's 9:20.
it's
based on the sun.
It's
9:09.
8:02. You were only 27 minutes off.
That's all right. It's close enough.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, you were within the same hour, so
Thank you.
congratulations.
Yes,
Barely.
it was
By
impressive.
You win a high five.
I'm just confused.
I do that to my
was-
3-year-old.
I feel so gypped and alone.
I
a high
am
five.
so glad I'm sitting on this side of the table. I have not had this much fun in a long time.
Steph, we want them to like us. We just got
Oh
here.
no, we love you guys. That was the best thing I've seen.
Oh.
I'm just confused because at home in Texas at this time of day, it's still light outside. And so I'm very confused.
There's a lot of things about Texas that are confusing.
I know. There really are.
Probably depends on what part of Texas you're in.
That's true.
State's
Any
the size
part
of
that's
a
honors
small
in.
country.
It really is. It's bigger than some countries. But yeah, that's our show. That's all I got. I'm not even going to try
Stay
anymore.
tuned for more geography next week.
I'm not even going to try anymore. If you got any feedback, go ahead and send it to us. Feedback@stolendroids.com. Tell us your thoughts on digital piracy. Do you do it? Do you not?
Do you do it? Yes, please
tell
give
us.
yourself up.
Tell
so
us if you do.
We promise we won't turn you over to the
We are
feds.
not members of the
Which is
government.
exactly what a narc would say. We promise we're not going to turn you over.
I already exposed that someone from the IRS.
Right. We've already got somebody in trouble with the IRS.
Hello, fellow youth.
Marley.
No. No, IRS listener, no.
No IRS. This is awesome.
Yeah, go ahead and
Make sure to check out part 3 of this over on Cutscenes and Cupcakes. We'll link them in the description below.
yes,
And you can just find them on stolendroids.com.
This
Yeah.
is a YouTube video. There's not like a...
There,
Okay.
there is because we are on the YouTubes now.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
are.
that's right.
We are on the YouTubes
And-
now, audio only.
Jake,
It
that's
has
fair.
a description for each podcast episode. Come on.
and,
Amateur.
and in the words of Darth Vader, live long and prosper.
Yes.
Oh.
So
Every time.
Oh my gosh.
okay, I'm just gonna end this. Be good to each other.
Hustle away, go.
Bye.
This has been a Stolen Droids Media production.